Hi everybody, I want to show you a guitar I've just finished. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play it for you because it's left-handed and I cannot play left-handed. But it's got an Evertune bridge in it. This is the Evertune bridge. I'd never fitted one before and I made this body here purely to mount the Evertune bridge to it. Now, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what this bridge is designed to do and what problems it's meant to solve, but maybe the best way to understand really what this bridge is all about is to get it on the bench and let's have a closer look at it in action. So, here's the bridge itself. It's got a few adjustment points on it and I'll try and show you where they all are. Let's start at the back of the bridge. You've got a number of the Allen key slots at the back. These are holding a bolt that's inside here which allows the bridge saddle to move backwards and forwards for intonation. That's actually adjusted last. Inside here are grub screws which actually push down on the back of the spring carrier, and these will set the height for the individual saddles, and all the spring carriers are entirely individual and they move backwards and forwards inside the body of the guitar based on the screw at the back. And then you have the tuning itself, and that's in this little screw there, and again it's the same key that operates everything, which is quite practical. Tuning this clockwise will tighten it, anti-clockwise will loosen the string. Basically, to see how this works, the best way to show you it is to show you how you set up an individual string. And you do that by starting below the pitch. Now you can see that the spring carrier takes up the slack until it gets to the end of its range, and then the string will lower in pitch. As you tighten the string up, and I'm now turning it as going up, now you can hear it's hit pitch and now it's no longer moving, but the bridge saddle is moving instead. What you have to do is to get it inside that range by about a turn or two, and then in goes the key and you set the tuning. Now it's better to set the guitar in its playing position because you can hear, it doesn't take a lot of weight, I'm hardly touching that to detune it, so you have to kind of tune it and take the key out and then try again until you get it right. Once you've got that tuning correct, you then have to carry on to set the bend point of the string. So to set the bend stop, we're really talking about getting this to the edge of its operation area. Now what you can hear is, as I bend the string up, there's a little bit of a gap where I can bend the string and it doesn't raise in pitch. Now what you have to do is to tune the string up in the traditional manner with the key until you're happy that this is close enough to its edge of its operation that your bend is sensitive enough for you. So can you see the difference there slightly? It's very subtle. Now there's almost no bend stop there at all. Now that's almost operating as a standard bridge because this is all the way to the end of its operation. So I'm just going to turn that back very slightly. Okay, so here we are. The guitar, excuse me, playing left-handed, upside down, right-handed kind of thing, because I can't play left-handed at all. Let's just add a bit of volume and play a chord. So you can hear that's in tune, no problem. Now, what happens if I try and play some rhythm? I mean to play a power chord here. Now I'm going to shake those strings. Can you hear that's not going out of tune at all? Now, unfortunately, that was the point on the video where the camera microphone decided to die, so I had to bin the rest of that video, and unfortunately by the time I realised I'd already given the guitar back to the owner, so that's gone as well, so I couldn't really finish the video how I would have liked to. However, let's have a quick chat about what Evertune is, what it does, and how well it does it. Well, for me, Evertune isn't really primarily about keeping your guitar in tune, but keeping you in tune as a player. So, for example, if you grab hold of a bunch of notes with your left hand and you bend one of them slightly, no, Evertune is not going to let that go out of tune. You won't hear that. It's seamless. It doesn't sort of drift out and then come back and steady itself. It just doesn't go out of tune. It's rock solid. In that sense, it's absolutely brilliant. And it does exactly the same thing with overpicking. If you pick too hard, and we all know that when you pick a guitar string, you know, when it's plugged into a tuner, you can watch the needle go up and come back and settle. No, not with Evertune. Evertune doesn't have any of that. It's absolutely solid. I mean, if it does go up, it's very, very quick. It's inaudible to my ears. Now, I also would say that it's one way of curing specific kinds of tuning issues, which are ones that are caused purely by very high or fast changing temperatures, because obviously the string is stretching, and Evertune will take up that slack. However, there are some downsides to Evertune, despite how clever and how innovative an engineering solution it is. The biggest one for me is that you have to remove a lot of wood from your guitar to fit this. This means it's not something you can try out and then say, no, it's a bit overkill, I'll just take it out again. No, because there's no wood left to put a bridge back to. Evertune is permanent. If you do that to your guitar body, that's where you're staying with it. It's also not a cheap solution. Now, nor should it be. I mean, it is a very, very complicated piece of engineering, and it's probably very expensive to build. But again, if you're just having standard tuning issues rather than ones that are caused by your playing, you know, strings going out of tune, that kind of thing, there are probably a lot of things that you could do first before you resorted to something as invasive and expensive as Evertune. Now, what is Evertune designed to do, and what is it not designed to do, more importantly? Well, it's not designed to deal with the real problem that most people come to me with when they're talking about getting their rhythm parts to sound in tune, and that is intonation. The intonation on your guitar will never be perfect. It's a guitar. Unless you have something fitted like the True Temperament system from Strandberg, which is an oddly shaped set of frets, which basically makes the guitar true temperament across its entire range, then you're always going to have some tuning problems with the guitar in terms of playing shapes in different places on the neck and having them all sound in tune. It's just not possible. Now, this is one of the things where studio engineers have come to me and said, well, do you think fitting Evertune is going to make that problem better? Well, it will to a certain degree, because, of course, the fine-tuning on that bridge, you could, say, fine-tune to a shape higher on the neck with an electronic tuner. And, of course, you've got to remember that you then cannot bend that out of shape. So whatever you do tune it to will be absolutely stable. So it is a solution, but you still have to do something else. You can't just rely on Evertune to be in tune at one end of the neck and then expect your guitar to be somehow perfectly intonated anywhere else on the neck. And then is one final thing, which is about drop D tuning. Now, they do say on Evertune's literature that you can drop D tune on the fly. And it's true, you can, because all you're doing is winding the string out until it runs out of range on the Evertune saddle, and the spring locks, and then of course you can just tune the string down. But of course, what's not being said here is that when you're doing that, if that's your bridge saddle, it's got a long range of movement before it runs out of spring travel. And then when it runs out of spring travel, of course, it's significantly further back than it was at its optimum setting. So it's okay if you're playing that open D string as an open D in your drop D tuning, but the further you work up the neck, you've just created an intonation problem. So overall, what did I think? Actually, I think they're really, really good. But I don't think they're going to be the right solution for a huge number of players. Those players who need something like this, especially players who are playing lots of layers onto recordings, or are playing with two guitars maybe and are desperate to keep the two guitars absolutely in tune while chugging very heavy rhythm parts with lots of distortion, I think they're going to be a real innovation for you. But actually, for the vast majority of players, I don't think that this is going to be the solution to keeping your guitar in tune. I think there are more cost-effective and quicker ways and less invasive ways of doing that kind of thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm sorry the video kind of went wrong and that I couldn't show you the full demonstration of the guitar itself, because I think the Evertune bridge is really worth looking at, and it's a fantastic piece of engineering. Anyway, see you again next time, I hope.